What is going on, guys? Jake here, and today I'm going to be bringing you another update on the 5.4 PTR for Death Knights. This entire video will be solely dedicated to the new glyphs we have just received, and I gotta admit, I'm really excited to show them to you because they're going to increase damage, they're going to increase survivability, and there's some pretty decent cosmetic ones on top of it. So let's get into it. Alright, now the first glyph I'm going to be showing you is the glyph of Skeleton. What Skeleton is going to do is going to change the way our pet looks for unholy DKs, and normal DKs in that general. Right now, I'm using the glyph of the Geist, so he looks like that. Let's try Skeleton, because I haven't seen it yet. So we will replace that with that. He still looks like a Geist, we're just going to get rid of him. Luckily, he's only on a minute cooldown now. Isn't that a good thing to have? So we're going to kill him, and let's see what the new pet for unholy DK, and just every DK in general, looks like. Oh shit! Yo! Dude! You look fucking awesome! Dude, that looks badass! He's got armor on and everything! He's a little lanky, but that's expected with the skeleton, but holy shit! Dude! You look fucking awesome! Look at that! Look at that! That is awesome! Alright guys, that's glyph 1 down. Glyph the skeleton. I'm gonna be using that. That shit's getting used right there. That is awesome. Alright, let's move on to our next glyph. Alright guys, next glyph is going to stay in the same section as the minor glyph area, and this is going to be a buff towards PvE and PvP as well, in my opinion. Now, as of 5.3, during live, Horn of Winter for DKs and Battle Shout, I believe it's called for warriors, will increase our attack damage by 10%. Each has a 5-minute duration. But with this new glyph called Long Winter, our horn now lasts an entire hour, so it's much like every other buff in the game. So let's turn horn up. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. Horn of Winter is now 60 minutes in duration. That's pretty awesome. That is pretty damn awesome. I like that. I like that a lot. Alright, Horn of Winter has been changed. We got a new pet. Let's move on to the major glyphs. Alright, now we're going to go to a major glyph. This is going to be a very big one for both Unholy and Blood DKs. The new glyph called Festering Blood. Blood Boil will now treat all targets as though they already have Blood Plague or Frost Fever applied. Now, for those who don't know, Blood Boil will do more damage the more diseases are on a target. What Festering Blood will allow is DKs to do continuous high damage without having to have diseases on all targets. Even though we should, it's a situation where maybe someone got dispelled, and maybe you're not rolling Royally Blood, maybe you're using Plague Leech. You can still Blood Boil to get your runes fixed over, and still do a lot of damage with this, so let's just give it a test. We'll get rid of Glyph of Pestilence, for Festering Blood. Actually, you know what? Hold on a minute here. Let's just put Enduring Infection on, real fast. And we're going to test the damage difference. So, let's put the pet on passive. This is going to be the basic damage for a Blood Boil unglyphed. 13k, 13k, 12k. Let's do one more. 12k, 12k, 12k across the board. Not bad. Now let's put Festering Blood on. Oh, we're in combat. Come on. There we go. Okay, Festering Blood is now applied, and let's see the damage. 19k across the board. That's 7 up. 19k across the board. 7 up. I say that's pretty good. You're getting a heavy damage increase with using this glyph, and I feel like it's going to be used a lot more in PvE than PvP, but still a viable option for PvP, and I believe a must-have for PvE. That damage increase speaks for itself. Alright guys, for this glyph I've actually switched into Frost Presence. Now, Pillar of Frost, previously in 5.3, live and back, when you glyphed it, it would make it so you would not be affected by any movement pairing effects, but you would be rooted in place. Nobody took that glyph. Nobody. That's a horrible glyph. Nobody wants to stay still in PvE or in PvP. So they've redesigned it to now where you only take a 70% movement cut. So you're going to be moving slow as molasses, but you won't get feared or anything. You just can't be touched. You're a walking tank. But I know what a lot of people are thinking. I've heard a lot of this, and a lot of people were actually complaining about it before it was even tested. That if Death Knights took Death's Advance and they popped it with this, you'd be moving at 100% speed and you can't be messed with. That's not true. I'm going to tell you right now. If you glyph Pillar of Frost and you activate it, Death's Advance will gray itself out. You will not be able to activate it. If you attempt to activate Death's Advance first and then Pillar of Frost, it will turn off Death's Advance automatically. It doesn't work. It's a really big disappointment because that could have made Frost DKs walking tanks that cannot be messed with for a minute, and it would have been amazing. But We do not have such luck. And to show it to you guys, I will prove it. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Death's Advance, which typically, if I took a movement speed impairing effect and then activated, I'd be moving at 100% normal, just straight normal speed. But when I activate Pillar of Frost, it will go away. So here we go. It's active. Hit the burst macro, it's gone. Pillar of Frost has now been affected. You can see that this is now the little animation that happens with it while you're running. You can't be affected by anything. Nothing at all will change the fact that you're affected by this. All movement effects, speed boosts, you name it, will not help you when you have the glyph active. It's kind of sad, but it is the truth. So, Pillar of Frost, well, in certain situations, maybe it's good to have. I don't see Pillar of Frost in PvE, or I'm sorry, in PvP being that effective. Might be effective in quite a few PvE fights for Throne of Thunder and coming up Raid of Orgrimmar. We'll see, but for now, if you're a Frost DK, you're doing RBGs, you're doing arenas, you're doing battlegrounds, I'm going to tell you to steer clear from Pillar of Frost. Alright, next up we're going to the Glyph of Loud Horn. What this will do is make our Horn of Winter generate an extra 10 runic power, but the cooldown is increased by 100%. So currently, you get 10 runic power from Horn of Winter, and its cooldown is a very short 20 seconds. So, we're going to go into Loud Horn. And this is going to generate 20 runic power for us, but it's also going to increase it by 40 seconds. So, I see this one being effective, because you don't have to constantly have Horn of Winter in your DPS rotation, PvE or PvP, and maybe taking an extra 20 seconds to activate it again won't exactly kill you. It's going to give you a lot of runic power on use, and I feel like that's pretty useful. So I'm going to say the Glyph of Loud Horn. I don't want to say it's a must-have, but it's definitely one that's worth looking over, because that 21 shot total, for some reason it gives 21 over 20. Don't know why, it does. But that extra runic power is a lot. That could be the difference between a kill and not a kill, being able to, you know, readjust your runes, do anything you need at all. Getting extra runic power, it could be a Death Coil, it could be a Frost Strike, it could be a Blood Strike, or I'm sorry, a Rune Strike. It could be anything that you need. So I'm going to say Glyph of Loud Horn, good glyph, but not a must-have. It's up to you if you want to use it or not. Alright guys, next up we're going to be going over is the Glyph of Swift Death. Swift Death is now a glyph for our Soul Reaper, which is a DK execute. Previously, if you killed a target before Soul Reaper was able to tick, you gained 50% haste for 5 seconds. Now if you glyph it, you will also gain a 30% movement speed for the same duration of 5 seconds. So let's go give it a quick look-see, and we'll use it on these new mobs that have, quite frankly, destroyed the Vale. So we're going to pull one in. Oh, how's he out of range? There we go. We got one here. So he's already getting pretty low. Okay, he's going to die. And there's our movement speed increase. There's the buff for Soul Reaper. We got that haste. And we got the movement speed. I feel like that's going to be a very viable glyph to have in PvE, as well as a pretty decent glyph in PvP on top of that. You cannot, honestly, with the way World of Warcraft is, with a lot of CC, slows, stuns, roots, and all that good stuff, having the ability to make it so you don't get as slow, it helps out. So let's just go ahead and put it on this guy again, and we got the movement speed increase. We'll put it on this guy. If he doesn't die, oh, there it is. Movement speed increase. We're actually moving pretty damn fast. Especially being unholy, this goes really, really well. But you can see how Glyph of Swift Death is going to be a major glyph for PvE, and I'm going to say it's a pretty damn decent glyph for PvP. Again, like Loud Horn, I'm not going to say this is a must-have glyph. It's going to be your own choice. Myself, I'll be running it a lot on my Death Knight when I'm doing raids. Not so much in arenas, but probably quite a bit in raided battlegrounds. So Swift Death is a good glyph, up to you if you want to use it, but I'm going to say it is completely viable to use for all sorts of Death Knights. Alright guys, last glyph of the day. Now we're going to go to our favorite defensive cooldown of all time. This is going to be the, what the fuck is that? What is that panda doing? Alright, focusing. Alright, So, final glyph is going to be for our major, whoa, Shaw stuff, get away. Okie dokie. Let's try this one more time. The final glyph is going to be for our favorite, god damn it. Alright, one more time. Our final glyph is going to be for our favorite defensive cooldown, AMS, and this glyph is Glyph of Regenerative Magic. What it will do is decrease the cooldown duration of our AMS by 50% on the base amount of damage we have taken. So let's say you're facing a team with not a lot of magic attack. Let's say you're facing a team like TSG, and there's a DK, and you think he's about to start priming you up for a Soul Reaper with Necro and all that good stuff and diseases. Well, let's say you time it wrong, and he doesn't do anything while you have it active. So you pop AMS, but you're glyphed. Now you're going to see the cooldown go from 40 seconds for when it decreases down to 20 because you didn't take any damage. So by the amount of damage you take, it's going to be cutting down further and further and further. So really, it's a glyph that's going to increase the cooldown as long as it lives. If you pop AMS against a team that has, you know, a lock on it, a mage on it, a shaman on it, that's going to burst the bubble before it can go away, the glyph itself will become essentially useless. But if you're going up against a team and you know they're on the tail end of their damage and you can pop that, reduce damage, get the reduced cooldown, and be able to have it up again sooner for possibly big burst, then I'm going to say it's a really good glyph to have. It's going to increase DK survivability by a lot, and I'm going to give it the good old thumbs up. I have a feeling that you're going to see a lot of Death Knights using Regenerative Magic, along with already the glyph of AMS. So 2 AMS glyphs, not too bad, increasing our survivability. I can't argue with that. So far, with the 5.4 PTR, the changes that Death Knights have been receiving, I am pretty damn happy. There's always room for improvement when it comes to Death Knights, especially if we could just get Bone Shield already. That would be huge, but we're not getting it. For what we have, though, I am happy. Death Knights are looking a lot better for PvP next patch with increased survivability, increased damage, getting our pet up faster, and everything else. So right now, I'm happy with the way Frost is looking, happy with the way Unholy's looking, and happy with the way Blood's looking. So that's it for this video, guys. This is a straight up glyph guide for what's been happening so far in the 5.4 PTR. Stay tuned, there's going to be more PTR videos, and if you liked it, please feel free to leave a like down below and a comment to accompany it. And as always, guys, have a good one.